Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street, 5 o'clock New York time every day, our live streaming webcast. And I got an important show for you. You know, a lot of times the obvious isn't so obvious. And a lot of times vested interests want stories to go away. Now, one of the people who are most clever at bending and shaping the media and the buzz surrounding their activities is the construction and real estate industry. Real estate people will show that a market is hot when it's not months and even years after it started a downturn. They will manipulate the markets. They'll manipulate the inventory, how many pieces of property they show there. They've got it down to a science. Well, the reason why is that has been the industry that's wiped out over and over and over again. And they've learned that bad news affects the market. You know, if people understand that it's a downturn in the market, they understand real estate's getting soft, prices are falling, they lose buyers. So in the real estate business, it's always wunderbar. Wunderbar is a wonderful time to buy. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But the reality is that the housing market from one end of America is collapsing. Builders are going broke. A lot of funds that invest in the real estate investment trust, REITs, are in deep and serious trouble and hiding massive losses. Now, it's been pretty common knowledge about the real estate downturn as far as malls are concerned. Now, they blame the online shopping that's taking business from them, but that's not really the case. The fact of the matter is there is just far too much space. America has 5 times the retail square footage as Europe. Europeans are half as likely to shop online as Americans. The reality is that they want to say, well, online is taking a little bit of a toll. No. The problem is, in reality, with easy money, the past 10 years, builders have gone hog wild. Developers have shot it to the moon. We have built far too much retail space that the market can use, utilize, or wants. Shopping malls are going down from one end of the country to another, and they're saying, well, it's just the secondary ones. The good locations are good, and we're concentrating on our primary malls. Bullshit. Every mall operator has a stack of properties he wants to get rid of. He's got a stack of leases that are not performing, he's not being paid. He's juggling like the Mad Hatter debt and revenues to try to paper over the losses. Now, it doesn't stop there. Real estate prices, the condo market in New York City is starting to collapse. Why? Well, what's not being told is the financial market is starting to pull back. People are starting to lose jobs. Debts are starting to go bad, and we got a plain old-fashioned recessionary wipeout just around the corner. But you know what makes it even dicier? Builders. Builders are taking a pipe. Lumber prices have doubled. That's because of the trade war with Canada. Now Trump has given the kiss of death with steel. Steel is essential for building. Rebar into concrete, steel I-beams for commercial buildings. And guess what? Prices are starting to soar. So here's what's going on in the real estate business overall. Vacancy rates are crumbling. The individual renters are not able to afford the high-priced stuff. Buyers are not coming because they're getting killed. Look, it is the perfect storm. Slowing economy. Wages dropping. People losing their jobs, especially high-paying people being replaced by algorithms. Material costs are shooting to the moon. And the other one, the kiss of death, is loans. Construction is based on short-term paper, okay, the construction loan. And it is one of the most sensitive-to-rate loans there are. Builders borrow in the short-term market, and they flip over their projects to long-term financing. Guess what? Long-term financing is drying up. Slowly, the banks are pushing up the credit score they are willing to loan at. Builders are seeing higher expenses. They are seeing material costs go through the moon. Regulation is there more than ever. And you have the perfect storm for the biggest real estate wipeout yet. Now, I know you've been through a few of them, but this next one's going to be a humdinger. Why? Well, the problem is, oh, my God, there are no buyers. We are headed for a recession. People who are in their homes have a very favorable mortgage rate, okay? They know if they move, the bank is not giving the same rate again. So that is a big factor in the upward mobility of Americans. In the big cities on the East Coast, there's no more tax deduction for the real estate. There's no more tax deduction for the interest. There's no more property tax offsets. So that means the cost of carry is skyrocketing. Now you add all the other horrors, interest rates on short-term financing, building costs, and the one that's the kiss of death is occupancy rates. Reality is that commercial real estate is seeing a huge drop in occupancies. Landlords are having a hard time renting properties. Their anchor tenants are leaving, going broke, like Toys R Us and Sears. The restaurants are not doing well. The expansion programs are not working. It is the perfect storm. And guess what? The losses in real estate right now are just under the surface. Baby boomers have massive amounts of real estate loans that are sold as enhanced, high-yielding bonds in their retirement portfolios. And what's not being told is this paper is going bad. These people are not making payments. Payments are coming in slow. They are not honoring their debts. And we are going to have another real estate wipeout. This one is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be the commercial wipeout. This is going to be the wipeout of the really big projects that involve really big money, that involve really big financing, and need huge anchor tenants to make it work. Not because of online shopping. It's because in the craziness of the past 10 years, we have overbuilt. We have massive excess capacity in all commercial real estate. Now, there's another factor. The office. The staple of the American real estate market, office and office rents. Well, guess what? More and more companies are doing the calculation. Wait a minute. Why should I provide this employee with a desk, office space, air conditioning? I can have them use their own home as an office. I can easily monitor in this day and age my keystrokes, what they're doing, what their work product is. I know if they're working or not. They find out, hey, they work longer hours. They work more efficient. I don't have to give them an office. I give them a computer, and the rest is up to them. The employees love being home, sitting at the desk in their underwear. You don't have to get dressed up. Don't have to go through the commute, especially now in the major cities where commute times are going higher and higher. Traffic jams are unbelievable. No more. You're in your convenience of your house. You want a cup of coffee. You want to fry yourself an egg. You want to go take a shower. Long as you produce the work product and the net hours are what they're supposed to be, employers are loving it. Now, with modern computers, modern technology, it's very easy to keep tabs and monitor people working in their homes. What does that mean? Less demand for office space. Now, the same thing with algorithms and banks. Remember when the banks were chock full of tellers and loan officers and you had people that you would sit and talk to? They're all gone. That means less people. That means less offices. And that means less workspace needed. Now, this is not even an economic factor. It's a factor of the technology change in the workplace. Now comes the big box retailers. There are too damn many of them. They're selling too many goods. They have too many outlets. They have too few clients. They can't make it work. Mall rents skyrocketed and have peaked and now on their way back down. People are tired of fighting traffic in the malls. They are tired of fighting parking. They are tired of no help, no service. And yes, many of them are turning online. But the reality is America has 5 times the real estate space it needs, never mind shopping online. Another great tragedy about to build. Now you've got another factor, and that is the big retailers. Well, basically, what is Walmart? Well, Walmart is the Chinese resale center. You know, what you buy in the Walmart store? Well, Walmart sourced it out of China. Guess what? You can source it out of China, too. And you can save a bundle. So now what's happening is people are realizing, well, shit, why do I need to pay the Walmart markup? I go in the Walmart store, I find out what I want, look for the best bargain online, bim-bitty bang, it's at my door, no muss, no fuss, I don't have to go anywhere. If I'm not home, they can leave it now inside. It's changing the retail landscape. So besides the fact that we're overmauled, besides the fact that we have more retail space than we could justify, we now have the technological revolution, the office revolution. So many factors are driving this model that it's hard to see how any real estate will survive at its present price level. Now you add the recession. We all know what that means. Less sales, less employees, less profits, less of everything. You know, during the great growth periods, you have more. More shopping centers, more restaurants, more choices of food. It gets to more and more and more where there's just too much. We have in America too much of everything. We have too many choices on the shelf of the grocery store. We have too much retail shopping space. We have too much of everything you can imagine. We have too much housing. Contrary to this, remember, realtors always want to give you the scarcity problem. Oh, man, these baby boomers and millennials are moving out. The baby boomers are going out of their houses and they're buying smaller houses in vacation places, creating demand. And the millennials are moving right in. And then they're starting to form families. It's false, false, false. You've got the demographic time bomb. People are occupying smaller spaces. People are bunching up. They have less space, less demand. Millennials are waiting longer and longer before they form families, before they leave the nest. It is a real crisis. People are not leveraged up on real estate. People that have 2 homes can't afford anymore to go into one. That's another factor. The vacation home blight. Too much of them everywhere. Prices too high. Too costly to maintain. And remember, the tax situation has changed the economics of housing unlike anything we've seen in recent times. We are headed for the biggest real estate bust ever. Now remember, you have huge real estate trusts that got huge numbers of real estate from the bust. They've maintained those properties all those years. They have put a fortune into them. They are now in the rental business. Well, here's what they're not telling you. The rentals are coming slower. The price is coming down. The tenants are walking out on their leases. And you couple that with the commercial disaster in the retail space in the malls. You add to that the office space disaster. Now you add the entire technological revolution. Reality is that even people that are involved in financing industrial space are finding that we're going to China whether Trump likes it or not. We're going to Mexico. And now all of a sudden industrial space is becoming a problem. Wherever you go in the country, there are more what we call holes. Holes are real estate that is empty. Nobody's in it. Nobody's paying rent on it. All this finance with funny money. All this finance with the 10 years of the cheapest rates ever. And then on top of that, the cost of carry is going up. Oh, my God. Real estate financing costs are skyrocketing, especially in the short term. Now, commercial real estate doesn't get any worse than this. States are also piling on the taxes. You take New York, New Jersey, Illinois, oh my God, California, they have a budget crisis. They do not have enough money. Sales tax revenue is fleeting. Retail sales are marginal. Where's their next source of revenue? Plain old-fashioned property taxes because you aren't going anywhere and you got to pay it. And now they are slamming huge taxes on commercial real estate, residential condominiums. All of a sudden, the game is changing there. You could not have a worse real estate market. Renters are scarce. The credit quality of the people who own these buildings is deteriorating rapidly. Oh, there's one other little secret they aren't telling you. Tens of billions of dollars in real estate start coming up for refinancing this year, and they max out in 2 years. In other words, the greatest number of real estate notes are rolling over in the next 2 years. And guess what? In the perfect storm. From the lowest rates ever to rates that are soaring. Now remember, these properties are marginal at the lowest rates ever. These properties are marginal with a healthy economy. Now you have got the recession hitting. You have got the cost of carrying these properties going up. And the disaster of all disaster, people are no longer shopping till they dropped because they dropped. The retail consumer is feeling the pain. Credit card debt is maxed out. No credit card, no credit on the credit card, no shopping, no buying. No buying, no mall. No mall, no tenant. No tenant, no mall. Baby boomers are left holding the empty bag of massive real estate investment trust debt. Now remember, real estate investment trusts are very clever players. They know how to hide losses for the longest time. It's like a bank. As long as they keep the semblance of cash flow, as long as they make the interest payment, it's hard to know what's really going on. Appraisals? Appraisals are about as phony as a poker game in the back of a gas station, okay? You just don't know what you got. There's no real system of valuing the property. There is the ghost sales, and this is becoming a big problem again. Ghost sales are sales that are structured between buyer and seller that are really not sales. They are transfer of property in kind without the transfer of money to make the appearance of a healthy, you buy my dog shit property, I buy your dog shit property. And this game is going on big time. The bankers are being fooled by this. Look at Kushner, president's son-in-law. If he wasn't the son-in-law of the President of the United States, that 666 Mark of the Beast building right now would be in bankruptcy. Reality is that most people do not have the friends in high places, especially the President of the United States, to bail them out. And more real estate is going vacant. More and more property has questionable financing and questionable credibility. Builders are seeing skyrocketing, out of control material prices. Construction labor is getting more expensive as the lower echelon job market gets dried up very quickly. A lot of people have left the building industry. A lot of people are getting older, not able, it's one thing to be a roofer at 25 years old. It's another thing to climb up on a roof at 55 years old. And at 65, well, not very many 65-year-old roofers there doing heavy construction. So what's happening, there's one other little itsy-bitsy factor. The construction industry in America has thrived for generations on immigrant labor, legal or otherwise. Go to any construction site, and they're basically full of undocumented workers, usually Latinos. We all know that, right? Hard workers. They have a beautiful skill set. It's a tradition. Guess what? Those people are being rounded up by ICE. So now realtors and real estate developers and sales organization are having a problem on their projects, okay? Because remember, everybody's partnering in this thing. The real estate agent's a partner now. The builder's a partner. Construction company's a partner. Everyone has now got skin in the game. What's the problem? That core of cheap, experienced labor is disappearing. So when you hear them talking about lack of skilled labor in the construction business, let me translate that to you into pure, simple English. There are no more undocumented aliens that you can pay at a much lower price. The pool of those workers are drying up. Now, you got material. Oh, my God, steel, rebar, I-beams, construction material, lumber, it's going through the roof, doing a moonshot. Thank you, Trade War Trump. So Trade War Trump is now changing the entire equation in how the market works. No longer do you have that cheap labor. No longer do you have cheap financing. No longer do you have tenants dying to get into your building. No longer do you have the tax deductibility you used to have. This is a disaster that is not being told. You know, what's amazing to me is how bad the real estate market is, how many construction companies are on the brink of bankruptcy, how many projects are failing, how much financing is drying up if you can find financing, and when you do, how high the interest rate is, the labor equation. There is a perfect storm. They are getting nailed 6 ways from Sunday. There is nothing saving them. They have nothing. They don't have an increase in demand. They're not getting an increase in price. They've lost the tax deductibility. They have lost the cheap labor to build with. They've lost cheap material. They've lost major anchor tenants. They've lost mall traffic. You could not ask for a worse situation in the real estate market. And remember, the technicals of the office space, the people that need the high, big box projects, banks don't need huge lobbies anymore. Banks don't need huge amounts of people there. The bankers, let me tell you, every major financial institution I analyze, what's the one thing they say in their statements, the one thing they're doing to cut costs? Reducing headcount. Well, if you don't have the head, you don't need the chair. If you don't need the chair, you don't need the desk. If you don't need the desk, you don't need the office. And voila, you don't need the office space. Bye-bye. So builders, real estate developers, RITs, that rely upon a steady stream of renters are losing the big box tenants. They are losing the smaller retailers who can't compete. They are losing the office space market. It is a disaster like I have never seen. And you know what? The accounting's not done right. It's just like the subprime crisis. Oh, no, we have no problem. We have some real estate we'd like to get rid of, but our main projects are doing great. Bullshit. Because let me tell you the other side of this thing. You're going to love this. The other side is that location finders, these are the people that are in the business of working with corporations and franchise that want to expand. They know it's a wipeout and a bust. So they are driving a hard bargain. Rents are going down. Terms are getting easier. It is not a landlord's market any longer. They can name their terms. They're getting credit for 100% credit for fit out. They are getting a year, 2 years free rent. They are getting concessions where they're not giving a piece of the gross up any longer. It is amazing how the real estate business is changing. And what's amazing is, shh, don't say anything bad. Let's not scare off the suckers. The real estate game is hiding the fact that there's a collapse. The real estate is hiding a fact that, oh my God, we don't have tenants. We don't have financing. We don't have tax deductibility. We don't have economies of scale. We've got no economies. And now, there was one other thing the business was counting on. Remember Donald Trump? Well, Donald Trump's a great real estate magnate, right? I mean, you just ask him. Well, Donald Trump is neglected to do one thing that was a very important thing. You remember the $1 trillion, $100 billion of the partnership to make America great again? You remember all the construction programs? The bridges, the highways, stadiums. I mean, we were rebuilding America. And if you go to New York City, you can see it's a crumbling shithole. I mean, they've got bridges that are over 100 years old that are just no longer serviceable. They need more avenues, both above the water and under the water, to get onto that damn island. What happened? Well, everybody, don't tell the sleeping masses. But the last hope of the construction industry, the last hope of real estate, was these huge government projects. You notice how not a word is spoken? It's kind of like Kim Yum Nunchucks. Remember when he declared, good guy, good guy? And it's like, yeah, we're going to have a negotiation with no problem. He's a good guy, right? You got the publicity stunt. You got the reality TV show of the White House. You got your ratings, and you move on to another subject. Notice how there is no discussion about infrastructure projects. There's no mention of American shithole airports. By the way, you fly in Europe, what a difference, okay, of the airports. You come to America, it's like something out of the horror zone. Oh, my God. What, did they have a war here I didn't hear about? I mean, what dirty, filthy, stinky, inconveniently, lousy laid out structures that didn't have a place even for the security system. They got there cramming things on top of things. Can't even handle the runway space. They don't have the ramp space for the airplanes. They don't have the terminals to go there. I mean, it's an absolute disaster. I thought Donald Trump was going to go ahead and do infrastructure. Remember the potholes that were going to be filled? The new bridges and the rusty ones that were going to be painted and fixed over? The new highways being built, the new bridges? What happened? Hello? Donald? Well, where is he? Well, what Donald didn't tell you is that he's got himself a $1 trillion budget deficit. He can't afford to take it on. Now he's got a trade war, which is slam shutting the economy. Are you figuring it out, my friends? It is the perfect storm. No new construction. Government's construction, every time we see the numbers, becomes less and less and less. There are no infrastructure programs that are going to save the game. Nothing. 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 Now you got taxes rising, deductibility being gone, cost of carry by terms of interest rates, anchor tenants dropping dead like flies, businesses reducing headcount, sending employees home to work. Now, you want them to bullshit you and tell you real estate's doing well? You want them to tell you that they can honor the massive trillions of dollars in debt? No way, Jose. We're on the verge of the biggest wipeout in real estate ever. Commercial real estate, industrial real estate, residential real estate, municipal real estate. Yeah, municipal real estate. Why? The cities do not have the budgets to maintain their water systems, their sewer systems, their roads. And remember, every time a new road puts in, that's construction business. Every time a sewer system is put in, there's a contractor to do that for you. Every time you expand highways and lights and sewers and neighborhoods, not happening. And guess what? These guys, let me tell you a little secret about construction business. They have to have a steady supply of new projects because the new projects hides the sins in the old projects. Very often, revenue from new projects are going to pay off debt in old projects, okay? It's kind of keep the ball in the air. Then every once in a while they have a score where there's a project that's really lucrative and kind of get caught up. There's no lucrative project coming. There's no catch-up on the far horizon. We are on the verge of the biggest commercial, residential, industrial real estate wipeout ever. And guess what? The debt load of real estate is the greatest ever. Individuals in America hold the most mortgage debt ever. Corporations hold the most debt on real estate ever. REITs have huge debt loads like nothing they've ever seen before. Oh, and did I mention a little thing like baby boomers? Well, part of how they got that high yield was real estate debt that's rated triple D shit that's going to wipe out, and boomers once again have nothing. So enjoy the real estate and listen to how great the real estate is and how there's a shortage of homes and we can't find buyers. Bullshit. Material costs through the moon. Labor costs soaring because Donald Trump is not letting the cheap labor into the country. Figure it out before you wipe out. That's my saying. Figure it out before it wipes you out.